It was the winter of 1999. I was sitting in a corner office in Lower Manhattan, overlooking a world that seemed to be drowning in money. If you weren't there, it's hard to describe the electricity in the air. It felt like gravity had been canceled. You could throw a dart at a stock list and triple your money by lunch. Down the hall from me was a man named Julian. I won't use his last name, though you probably recognize the type. Julian was the golden boy of our firm. He was 32 years old, making about $1.5 million a year. And remember, this was 1999, so that $1.5 million felt like $5 million today. Julian was everything society told us we should want to be. He was rich, capital R. He drove a silver Ferrari 360 Modena that he parked in a garage that cost more per month than most people's rent. He wore a Patek Philippe Nautilus on his wrist, not because he liked watches, but because he needed you to know he could afford it. He had the summer rental in the Hamptons, the penthouse in Tribeca, and the model girlfriend who never seemed to speak. Every time he walked into a room, the energy shifted. He was loud. His success was loud. You could hear his Italian leather shoes clicking down the hallway before you saw him. And I'll be honest with you, I envied him. We all did. We looked at Julian and thought, that is the finish line. That is what winning looks like. But we were looking at a mirage. We were confusing a high burn rate with wealth. In March of 2000, the dot-com bubble burst. The music stopped. It didn't slow down, it just stopped. The market capitulated and the layoffs started about 3 weeks later. Julian was let go on a Tuesday morning. I remember it clearly because he was wearing a suit that cost $4,000 to get fired in. Here is the tragedy. By June, 90 days later, Julian was insolvent, completely broke. He lost the penthouse. The Ferrari was repossessed. The watch was pawned. He didn't just have zero assets. He had massive liabilities. He had been earning $1.5 million a year, but he had been spending $1.6 million to maintain the image of the man who earns $1.5 million. He was rich, but he was broke. I want you to really let that sink in. We use these words interchangeably, rich and wealthy. We think they are synonyms. They are not. In fact, in my 65 years on this earth, seeing the highest highs and the lowest lows of the financial world, I have come to believe they are very often opposites. Rich is current income. It is what you see. It is the peacock spreading its feathers. It is the external display of resources. It's a fast-moving river. It looks impressive. It makes a lot of noise. It crashes against the rocks. But if the rain stops, if the income stops, the river dries up instantly. Julian was a river. Wealth is different. Wealth is what you don't see. Wealth is the cars not purchased, the diamonds not bought. The first class upgrades declined. Wealth is financial assets that haven't been converted into the stuff you see on Instagram. Wealth is not a river. It is a lake. It is a reservoir. It sits there quiet, calm, deep. You don't see it from the highway. It doesn't scream for attention. But if the rain stops, the lake remains. Most of you watching this are playing the wrong game. You are exhausting yourselves trying to get rich. You are trying to increase the flow of the river so you can buy a bigger boat to show your neighbors. But the strategy for getting rich, high risk, high leverage, high consumption, high signaling, is the exact enemy of getting wealthy. I'm Alex Grant, and today we are going to stop looking at the price tags of things and start looking at the price tag of your freedom. We are going to walk through the mansion of your mind and act like a spy, uncovering the truth about money that the marketing industry has spent billions to hide from you. Because the truth is, rich is loud, wealth is quiet, and I want you to have the quiet kind. Why is this distinction so incredibly hard for us to grasp? Why do smart people, people with Ivy League degrees and high-powered careers, fall into the same trap as Julian? It's because we are biological machines designed for a world that no longer exists. For thousands of years, if you were a tribal chieftain or a successful hunter, You had to signal your power. You wore the biggest feathers. You occupied the highest ground. You had the most visible resources. That signaling was necessary for survival. It attracted mates. It warded off rivals. It was a language. But today, in the modern financial economy, that biological impulse is a glitch. It is a bug in your operating system. When you signal success through spending, you are literally subtracting from the very thing that makes you successful. You are trading the foundation for the fiad. Let me share a paradox with you that I call the man in the car paradox. It's something I observed every single day on Wall Street, and I want you to be honest with yourself right now. Imagine you're walking down the street and a brand new cherry red Lamborghini roars past you. It's loud, it's sleek, it's beautiful. You turn your head, you stare at the car. But here's the catch. You almost never look at the driver. You don't look at the guy behind the wheel and think, wow, that man is fascinating. I bet he has great integrity. I bet he is a wonderful father. I really respect him. Number, you don't care about him. He is a ghost. What happens is that you instantly project yourself into the driver's seat. You think, if I had that car, people would look at me. If I had that car, people would think I'm important. If I had that car, I would be happy. Do you see the irony? The driver bought the car to get respect and admiration from you, but you are using his car to fantasize about your own respect and admiration. He is trying to buy affection, but he is only buying your envy, and envy is not respect. Envy is a poison. This is the status game. It is a game you cannot win. Because the moment you buy the thing to impress the crowd simply looks past you to the object. You become an accessory to your own possessions. Ralph Waldo Emerson, one of the greatest American minds, wrote about this over 100 years ago. He said, "They measure their esteem of each other by what each has, and not by what each is." He called this a lack of self-reliance. If you need a $50,000 watch to tell the world you have value, then the value lies in the watch, not in you. If you strip away the car, the house, the clothes, what is left standing? Is it a man of substance, or is it a frightened child who needs a costume? When you understand this, the desire to look rich starts to fade. You realize that looking rich is actually a form of social charity. You are spending your hard-earned money to entertain strangers at the traffic light. You are impoverishing yourself to provide a visual spectacle for people you don't even know, and who certainly don't care about you. So, if that is being rich, then what is being wealthy? This is the hardest part to visualize because, by definition, wealth is hidden. It is negative space. It is the void. Wealth is the nice car not purchased. Wealth is the diamond necklace not worn. Wealth is the first-class upgrade decline. Wealth is assets that have not yet been converted into the things you see. When I say wealth is what you don't see, it literally, we can see your bank account balance. If you pull it up on your phone, but we can't see your financial runway just by looking at your shoes. And this is why it is so hard to learn from wealthy people. It is easy to find role models. You just turn on the television, open Instagram, or look at the billboards. They are everywhere. They are loud. But who are the role models for wealth? They are invisible. The woman who has $3 million in her Vanguard account might be driving a 5-year-old Honda Civic. She might be wearing a simple sweater. You pass her in the grocery store and you assume she is average. You don't know that she is completely free. You don't know that she could quit her job tomorrow and never work another day in her life if she didn't want to. You don't see her wealth, so you don't emulate her habits. We emulate what we see, and because we only see the spending, we equate spending with success. I want you to change your definition of wealth right now. Wealth is not a number. Wealth is an option. It is the ability to wake up in the morning and say, I can do whatever I want today. It is the ability to have a boss scream at you and to feel your heart rate stay perfectly calm because you know you don't need the paycheck. It is the ability to have a medical emergency and worry about the health issue, not the billing department. Wealth is the quiet confidence that comes from knowing you are self-sufficient. It is the silence in your head when you lay down to sleep at night. Benjamin Franklin, a man who understood money better than most modern economists, said, "The way to wealth is as plain as the way to market. It depends chiefly on two words, industry and frugality." Now, frugality is a word that people hate. It sounds painful. It sounds like deprivation. It sounds like refusing to order the appetizer or reusing tea bags. But that is a poverty mindset. True frugality in the pursuit of wealth is not about suffering. It is about efficiency. It is about understanding the exchange rate of your life. Every dollar you spend on a status symbol, on looking rich, is a dollar that could have been an employee working for you. Think of every dollar bill as a little soldier. Your job as the general is to capture as many soldiers as possible and send them out to capture more soldiers. When you buy the status symbol, you are sending your soldiers to die. You are trading them for a momentary hit of dopamine. But when you save that dollar, when you invest it, you are deploying that soldier to fight for your freedom. The gap between your ego and your income is where wealth is created. If your income is high but your ego is equally high, your wealth is zero. You are running on a treadmill. But if you can keep your ego low, if you can stop playing the status game, the gap widens, and in that gap you build the reservoir, you build the lake. Think about the energy required to be rich, just the sheer caloric burn of it. The maintenance. There is a profound anxiety that comes with maintaining a high-status lifestyle. I call it the anxiety of maintenance. You buy the big house, now you need the landscapers, the cleaners, the expensive furniture to fill the empty rooms. You buy the luxury car. Now you worry about where you park it, the insurance premiums, the scratches. Every possession is a burden. Every possession is a weight in your backpack. Alan Watts, the great interpreter of Eastern philosophy for the Western mind, spoke often about the backwards law. The idea is simple but counterintuitive. The more you pursue the feeling of being wealthy, the more you reinforce the reality that you lack it. When you desperately try to signal to the world, "I am successful," you are screaming to your own subconscious, "I am not enough." You are trying to fill an internal void with external things. And the problem with external things is that they never fill the hole. They just make the hole more expensive. I have sat in the living rooms of men who were worth $50 million on paper. If you were a spy in their mansion, walking through silently, you would see the marble floors and the art on the walls. But if you looked closer, you would see the divorce papers on the mahogany desk. You would see the bottles of sleeping pills on the nightstand. You would sense the thick, heavy silence of a home that is more like a museum than a sanctuary. You stop envying the mansion when you realize it is often a prison. The owner is not the master of the house is the master of him. He has to keep earning, keep grinding, keep stressing, just to keep the lights on in rooms he never enters. Wealth, true wealth, is the absence of that anxiety. It is the ability to sit on a park bench, watch the sun go down, and feel perfectly content because you know your foundation is solid. You don't need to prove anything to the jogger passing by. You have enough. Enough is the most powerful word in the dictionary of finance. It doesn't mean settling for less. It means knowing when the utility of the next dollar stops adding value to your life and starts adding stress. So how do we escape this trap? How do we stop playing the status game and start playing the wealth game? We need a framework. We need to perform surgery on our spending habits. The first step is what I call the ego audit. I want you to look at your last 3 months of spending. Go line by line for every significant purchase. Ask yourself one brutal question. Did I buy this for me, or did I buy this for them? Did I buy this because it brings me genuine joy, utility, and comfort? Or did I buy this because of how I imagined it would make me look to my peers if you bought the expensive jacket because it is high quality and will last 10 years? That is a wealth purchase. If you bought it because the logo is recognizable from 20 feet away, that is a status purchase. Cut the status purchases ruthlessly. You will be amazed at how much capital you suddenly free up next. We have to redefine success. Society tells you success is a vertical ladder. You climb higher, you get better titles, you get bigger offices, but I want you to view success as a horizontal timeline. Success is not about how high you climb, it is about how long you can survive without trading your time for money. If you earn $500,000 a year, but you have to be at your desk at 6 a.m. every single day, or you lose it all, you are not successful. You are a high-paid indentured servant. If you earn $80,000 a year, but you have zero debt, a paid-off home, and a portfolio that covers your basic needs, you are infinitely wealthier than the banker. You own your time, and time is the only asset you cannot earn back. We need to adopt the slow fortune ratio. This is where the rubber meets the road. This is where Jim Rohn's philosophy comes in. He said, we must all suffer from one of two pains, the pain of discipline or the pain of regret. The difference is discipline weighs ounces while regret weighs tons. The discipline here is to save and invest a radical percentage of your income, not 10%. I'm talking about 20, 30, maybe 50%. I know that sounds impossible. You're thinking, Alex, I have bills. But remember the audit. When you stop buying things to impress people you don't like, your cost of living collapses. When you take that money you didn't spend on the new car, and you put it into boring, quiet, productive assets, you are buying your freedom. You are buying the option to say number every $1,000 you invest is a day of freedom you just bought for your future self. $10,000. That's 2 weeks or a month where you don't have to answer to anyone. Accumulate enough of those days and you have a life that belongs to you. This is the shift. You stop getting a dopamine hit from spending. You start getting a dopamine hit from saving. You start looking at your investment account and thinking, look at all that freedom. Look at all that silence. It's not as exciting as a Ferrari. You can't rev the engine of a mutual fund at a stoplight, but it will never break down on you, and it will never leave you stranded. So where does this leave us? It leaves us with a choice between the loud, exhausting life of being rich and the quiet, secure life of being wealthy. I take a walk every morning here in Austin. There's a trail I like that goes through a dense patch of woods, and what I love about nature is that it never lies, it never postures. When you walk through a forest, the oak tree isn't trying to impress the pine tree. The river isn't trying to flow faster just to show off to the rocks. Everything just is. The oak tree survives the storm, not because it has the flashiest leaves, but because it has the deepest roots. That is what I want for you. I want you to have roots. For too long, you have been told to focus on the branches, the clothes, the cars, the house, the vacation photos, but branches are heavy. If they get too big and the roots are too shallow, the whole tree comes down the moment the wind blows. And in the economy, the wind always blows eventually. I want you to fall in love with the factory, not the Ferrari. The Ferrari is a depreciating liability that screams for attention. The factory is the boring, ugly building that produces value day and night. Your portfolio is your factory. Your savings rate is your factory. It's not sexy. You can't drive it to a nightclub, but it will feed you forever. So here is my challenge to you this week. It's a simple one, but it requires honesty. I want you to identify one purchase you were planning to make. Maybe it's a new phone when your old one works fine. Maybe it's a car upgrade. Maybe it's just a pile of clothes you were going to buy online. I want you to stop. Look at that item. Ask yourself, is this for me or is this for the audience? Then take that money, whether it's $50 or $5,000, and move it into your freedom fund. Invest it. Buy a share of the S&P 500. Pay down a debt. Do it quietly. Don't post about it. Don't tell anyone. Just let that money sit there, silent and invisible, working for you. Feel the difference in that sensation. The purchase gives you a rush that lasts an hour. The investment gives you a security that lasts a lifetime. Let the others play the status game. Let them run on the hamster wheel until they are exhausted. You are going to step off the wheel. You are going to build something real. You are going to build something that lasts. Remember, rich is loud, wealth is quiet, slow is smooth, and smooth is fast. I'll see you next time.